get started.
So hello, and thanks for joining us at the RPA Summer School. This is a 4-session program on automation developer, the integrated development environment, or IDE, for building UiPath automations. My name is Brian Center. I've been working with UiPath for going on 3 years now. I've been in the industry for over 30 though, so you can ask me questions about COBOL or anything else. I am joined today by Tracy Dixon, a 3-time MVP and a consistent superstar. I just want to reemphasize something that Diana said earlier. Please tune in for all 4 sessions. I've been on some of these sessions already this summer, and it's fantastic. So I definitely recommend it. Even if you don't feel like I gave you the value you needed today, the next speaker certainly will, because each one of these sessions is hosted by a different person. So there we are. So what's RPA? Basically, it is clicking or reading or putting text into a keyboard just like a person, only automating it. Or to get to a more clinical definition, RPA, or robotic process automation, is the technology that enables computer software to emulate and integrate actions typically performed by humans interacting with digital systems. And the key aspects of RPA are first of all, mimicking human actions. We automate what humans can do with their hands and with their eyes. Or as we like to say it, we want to take the robot out of the human by giving that human a robot. It can operate in any application, and if it's on the computer, it's available to the robot. As long as a human can operate in an app, the robot should be able to do it just as well. It's not the easiest thing all the time, but that's our plan. Structured reading, actioning data, repetitive work with data opens the path to storing all the data that a robot handles and reusing it in other applications. So what I mean to say is you can copy from a screen in one application, paste it into a screen in another application, and all too many of us, that is what our job is. But it goes past that, because in addition to the GUI, you can work directly with an RPA. I'm sorry, with an API. You can even read and write SQL. The robot, one of the nice things about them is they work 365 days a year. They don't need a vacation and they don't need a rest. We like to say they don't make mistakes. I have to say that's not 100% true, but they're probably better than I am. It's quick to implement, it's powerful to scale, and RPA generally doesn't need a change in the architecture of the underlying application. So this is something that I have used to extend the life of an application and connect applications on disparate networks. There's really things that make this a powerful tool. What is not a robotic process automation? It's not a factory. It's not a factory robot. It won't build a car. It won't make your coffee, and it will not slice a bagel. But it can act as a human when it comes to an application. So since it can act as human, we can connect connect different systems using 443, and that's how when I say I connected disparate networks without a firewall rule change, that's how I did it. So we had 2 different organizations with separate systems run by separate people, separate budgets, but I was able to connect them using port 443, just like any other browser does. So our bots though can reach out to applications at the API level. One of the other things that I have done that I thought was exciting is to codify and automate the action of a knowledge worker. So we had someone who was retiring. In fact, they had their retirement party during the user acceptance test of the automation that automated that job. So when they were done, their work carried on even though they had retired. So when you hear about the great retirement or the great brain drain, the silver tsunami, all those things can be really helped by RPA. But there's more to UiPath than just RPA. We're talking about Studio today, and that's the IDE. Orchestrator is the administrative interface that we use to deploy, schedule, manage, and monitor the robots. And then the third piece of this puzzle is the robot itself, that it executes the automation process. So there's two main kinds of robots, attended and unattended. An unattended robot is a headless job that runs in the background, no humans are ever involved. And an attended bot, think of that as a digital assistant. There are parts of your job that you don't want to do. So in a contact center, a common use is start my day, and it just goes and fires up all the 8 different applications that a contact center worker needs to do their every single call. And so they can rerun that and get a clean slate every time they take a new call. So it really saves a lot of steps, and you interact with it. Once they're started, then you can interact with them as well. So let's talk about the end-to-end automation platform. How do you know what process to automate? So within UiPath, we're able to automate the discovery of applications that are candidates for automation with process mining and task mining, and task capture as well, to a lesser extent. We can define and prioritize automations with the Automation Hub, which also gives you a handle into task capture so that you can actually track the work that you're doing, and then upload a skeleton application to Automation Hub and ask the IT department or the core pro AI developers to automate the task that you want. And whether you're going to operate as a top-down environment or bottom-up, and what I mean by that is, in some organizations, you have automation desires that are pushed down from leadership and then implemented through the IT department through professional developers. Other organizations have citizen developers, or even using Automation Hub to request automations. And in that case, you've got the actual line workers saying, here's a task that can help us. And using Automation Hub, you can vote them up and vote them down. You can say, yeah, I need that application too. So what you end up with is a way to interact with that user community and the Robotic Center of Excellence, because that's a two-way communication. So you can watch what's happening. So through Automation Hub, you can watch the status change as more people, as it's approved through the COE, as it's assigned to the development staff. You can just keep back and forth about that. We talked a little bit about Orchestrator. This is where you can have dashboards, queues, the assets that are available to robots are stored there, logs are there. The UiPath supports Tenancy, which if you've already got the community edition installed, and I'm hoping most of us do, that is really tens of thousands of tenants on a single UiPath instance. So you don't know that there's another tens or hundreds of thousands of users using the same orchestrator that you are, but in reality, that's what's going on there. And you do that within your organization so that you separate and compartmentalize, so that the people in finance, they don't get to see the information that's in human resources, and human resources doesn't see what's in finance. All that completely separate. They don't know what's going on there. Action Center is another thing that's happening in Orchestrator, and that provides an interface for unattended robots to communicate with humans. So you can have an unattended robot that does a set of work, and then it needs a human interaction. So it queues it in the Action Center, and then the humans can take their action and then send it off to a pool of robots to take the next step or steps. Insights the last piece of this that I'll talk about. You can visualize your utilization and your return on investment from automations. With Insight, you can even notify support teams if the robot's in trouble. So it's very nice. Comes to interaction with the attended robots, the agent panel is your interface. But it doesn't stop there. You can also launch UiPath apps as well as robots. So now you have a GUI interface to interact with the robot, and you as developers, you'll be able to create those GUIs, and those will be covered in a later session. Where am I here? Oh, I see. We're going to let this automation play for a second. And what you're seeing here is how easy it is to build the GUI interface using the UiPath app. And that's about as much of that as I want to watch. And here's an example of insights. So you can see that we're not only measuring operational performance of our robot army, we're also looking at what it means to the business at the same time. So now let's talk about some real world use cases. Worldwide Technology is a large VAR and system integrator, and our first use of RPA technology was to automate communication with vendors that can't support the EDI interface to the WWT systems. So what we do is we go scrape their websites, we process their emails, or however we can communicate with those smaller vendors so that we can keep our customers' orders up to date. So our customers know when they order a switch from F5, they know when it's back ordered, they know when the order's filled, they know when it hits a truck, they know when it hits our warehouse, they know when it's shipped to them. They can look back through our vendors to see what they have purchased through us because we connect those systems using RPA. I've also personally developed automations for our contracts management people, and these bots were super helpful. They go out to, they actually monitor a group email and then go out to a website and scrape data and build another email, look up which sales team needs to act on it, and then sends it out. The question when I talk to a potential new RPA user is not what can we automate? It's the conversation really needs to focus on what we need to automate first, what needs the most automation, because there are hundreds of use cases in a large company. The beauty is once you automate one business unit, once they start to see that success, it spreads across the organization. So you guys are really in a field that's in demand. So I want you to focus. We're doing this for your current job, or you're thinking of becoming an RP developer. There is a lot of work that can go on, and you can make yourself super valuable. So really need to grasp this technology and move forward with it. I don't want to talk these use cases too, but basically we'll go ahead and the first one. So there's an email report, and we're going to extract the data out of it. We're going to build a report that's paper-based out of it. So we print something to PDF, and then we're going to go ahead and put that data into a database. We can then, and in another step, we can evaluate the case and even assign it or approve it altogether. So you can really take it through the whole life cycle. There's almost nothing that you can't automate. So why do you do that? The robot's going to be much faster. When you take the think time out of an application, you can reduce the time it takes to process something by minutes. And that adds up. When New York City added RPA to their adoption program, they actually took a year off of the time it took a kid to get into foster care. So, you know, when you talk about what is your return on investment, if it's a kid, if it's a year of a kid's life in a home, you know, how do you put a price on that? But you also get an improved compliance because the robot does it the same way every time. It logs everything it does, and it scales like crazy. And you just add another robot. If you run out of room, and it just plugs right in. It's effortless. So Gartner is a $4 billion company that gathers and shares information more than almost 500,000 times a year. And the 80 plus Gartner Magic Quadrants are the gold standard for objective market analysis. And they cover more than 800 technology vendors and technologies. And this page includes a few highlights that are extracted from the 2022 Magic Quadrant for RPA. You can get the full report using the link that's on this page. And by the way, you will get these slides later on. But the main thing to show you here is that fourth year in a row, UiPath is the leader in both the ability to execute and the completeness of vision. The fact of the matter is that UiPath is setting the market. We are creating we are creating an influence so that the other vendors are following, if that makes sense. One influence where UiPath really stands out is going beyond RPA. No other RPA product had the breadth of the UiPath platform. But it's not just Gartner. Ask anyone can tell you that UiPath leads RPA. So Gartner, Forrester, IDC, Everest, you can find UiPath in the upper right-hand corner of all of these. One of the things that sets UiPath apart, I think, is the UiPath marketplace, where there's lots of apps that people build and put out there for other people to use. But the most probably important is the UiPath Academy. It's free, it's online, it's self-paced education, and I'm guessing that's partly why you're here. So definitely check out the Academy if you're not already consuming that content. It is a fantastic resource. So now we're gonna have a demonstration. I'm gonna stop that here and go live. Yeehaw. I'm going to start with an application that I developed, and this one's a little more complicated than probably you're going to see at first, but I picked it for a reason. So this is the IDE, and you can see here that in the right, we have a panel that's right now set on the project. So basically, this is a file explorer view of the files that make up this project. Now, this project is developed using the RE framework, which gives you this entire framework section built in. And what that does is it adds in restart and some other capabilities like exception handling, so that it's already handled, so you can focus on the part that you need to do, and you just plug in your activity to it. But the other thing I want to point out here is it's that we are using these folders just like you know, and any other foldering system to organize work. So I have a folder that is all of the web components. So when I changed browsers, so when I started running into problems because my company quit allowing IE Explorer, I could come in and just modify these files, and the rest of the application didn't have to be, well, I mean, I retested it, but basically the rest of the application didn't have to get touched, just the part that was affected. And I've got another piece here for the mail. So there's a file here that gets the mail, and there's depending on what kind of mail it is, it's either going to send the mail or forward the mail. And then when it's done, it's going to archive it. So all that is stored in separate files so that we can so that we don't have a management nightmare. So you can see it's within the file. It's pretty clear, right? You can have comments within the Office 365 scope. I can log messages so that I can see things that are going on in the log, and those show up in the Orchestrator log. Then it's just, all this does is set up, get the mail, and then move on. In the process folder, I've got one that handles the basic process of a transaction, and another one that calls either the send or the forward mail, depending on the logic. So all that's there. The activities is where you get these activities here. Settle down. Uh-oh. I did not mean to undock that.
Yeah, I found that by putting an arrow on the bottom, you can sometimes get around that and drag the whole thing down. When I've done that my handful of times.
Thanks, Tracy. I don't know. We may just switch over to another application here. Don't work live, don't work with kids, don't work with animals. That's the rules. So yes, the activities panel, you can browse to your to the activity that you want to add, and then you can just drag them on. You can search to narrow down what you're looking for, and then when you hover over them, they tell you what they do. So that it makes it pretty handy. If you're ever confused, if you don't find what you're looking for by browsing through here, jump out to the UiPath community, the forum. If you just post UiPath and what you're trying to do, it's going to end up giving you a link back into the forum where the community somebody's probably already asked the question and somebody's probably answered the question. And if it's not there, go ahead and ask it there, and someone like me or Tracy or the other 100 people that are on this call will contribute, and together we'll answer your questions. Snippets window has things like that you use over and over, and this just takes the effort out of it. So you can add in a for each, and so you want to loop through all the processes that are running on the computer to pick one out. You can use the for each process to do that. So this really is doing its best to take the work out development. And then the properties pane over here is where you program the activities. Some of the information, like for example, in this read cell activity, some of the information I can fill out right here after I drag it on. Some of the other ones, like the output, that's only available in the properties panel. This is also where you find your test information. The variables panel here is where you can create variables. When you do that, then they're accessible to type ahead, and they'll fill them in for you. Arguments, if you've got them, and imports, all that's available here. The output panel shows what you did in your last run. Error list. It's really busy up here with this, but let's go ahead and here we go, and run analyze on the project. And what this does is it looks for errors, warnings, and allows you to come back in and make sure that you have a clean automation before you start testing. This is a great place to find things like uninitialized variables when you pass arguments back and forth. I have definitely found problems here that after banging my head on the wall. This is where you get your computer vision, the test manager interface, manage packages. This is where you can go out to the marketplace. You can add activities packages to your automation. Again, you can search. So if you're doing something that's Oracle, you can search for the oracles that are out here. A lot of times I like to focus on the official ones first. That these are the ones that UiPath is maintaining. If I can get it there, I'll do that. If not, I'll head out to the marketplace. And then the local one shows you what you've already got going. So you download them here, you upgrade them here. This is your interface to the rest of the world. I think one thing I would like to do is come over to the home panel and just show that we have some tools here. This is where you get access to repositories, to source control, the activities that you can do with the rest of your team. In settings, you can decide that some of those warnings that showed up in that analyze are not going to show up. Let's see if I left off anything important here. I think that's pretty much it. I did want to take a minute because there's an exercise that's associated with this, with this class. And that exercise is right here, and I'm going to walk through it with you real fast. So what we're going to do with this exercise is create is interact with this unicorn name application. Just a real simple application, but it demonstrates some of the things that we're going to do. Let me close this panel right here. So the basic flow is to create this browser object and assign it to the application and the path and the URL. We're going to read a couple of values out of an Excel worksheet that's included with that project, so it's already there. And then we're going to type into the element. That's a little scary looking. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that out. Sorry, left some trash out here. So we're gonna add our name out of the Excel. So the Excel. Oh, one thing I did not mention there. The Excel cells are putting their values into variables. And then we're going to use those variables when we're interacting with the web page. So we get the name, we get the birth month, and then we're going to type that into the name. We're going to select the birth month. And click a button. And then we're going to grab the value that is our new fancy unicorn name. I confess my birthday's in February, and I used January because I like Crystal Dazzler better than the February ones. Now, something that's not in the exercise, I popped in a little open of the Excel worksheet so that we can see the values are not there before we do it, and they are there after, just so that as we run this, it's completely self-contained. So there are a couple of message boxes that we've got in here. That's a real common thing that you might want to use. It's useful in debugging. It's useful while you're in test and development mode. The log messages are something that I use all the time. You can have different levels of warning, and you can filter when you're looking at the logs to say, okay, I only want to see fatals, I only want to see errors, or I want to get all the way down into trace. So let's go ahead and run that real fast. And hopefully it's not too fast to follow. So we've gone through, we've collected the information, we've put in the information, and we've extracted the name. So now we're going to pop up the Excel spreadsheet, and the message box. I've yet to master getting the message box on the right page here. So the message box says verify that it's blank. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to click OK. And it's going to dash through and update the worksheet. And then it's going to open it again so that we can see that it's done. And you can see my new unicorn name is updated. One other thing I'll mention is that as these descope, they shut themselves down. That wasn't necessarily obvious, but that's what's, because I don't have a close in here, but that's what's going on. The other thing I want to point out is that please don't use IE. It is the default, sadly. And I went ahead and used it for this just because I know everybody's got it and I don't have to wonder what browser people are going to want to use. The other reason is because I'm not using it. I know it's not going to collide with anything that I happen to be doing while I'm working. But IE is deprecated. It's yeah, I definitely don't recommend using it. I use both Chrome and Edge and Mozilla as well. They all work well. I guess, how are we doing on time?
3:41, doing well.
Okay.
Ready for
At
a Monday
this
quiz?
point, unless people have questions now, in fact, if I would say let's move on to a demonstration of the installation. What do you think, Diana? Are we there yet?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing and Tracy's gonna take over and she's gonna give us all a demonstration of installing the Community Edition. Show of hands, who's not already got Community Edition installed? Okay, so we definitely have a few, so this is going to pay off. Oh, Diana, I just realized I haven't given you any chances to do Menti questions. Do you want to get one of those in now?
Sure. Why don't we do a quiz? So hold on, everybody. I just pasted into chat where you need to go, which is www.menti.com. And I need you to type in that number 8627-1943. And we expect a lot of participation. This is fun. There's a prize that we'll be passing out tonight for the winner.
I don't see your message in the chat. Does everybody else see it?
I don't see it.
I do.
Okay.
So let's see, 8627-1943.
Yeah, hold on. I can do it again. There you go. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Great. We'll give you some time to log in. You can see all your little characters coming in. These are so cool. Which is why we like a lot of people to participate. And if you guys want to, please just leave this code in your system so that you're ready for the next set of questions too. We're getting some great questions tonight too, you guys. I love it that you're really participating in the chat. It's awesome. Okay, it looks like we have about 75 avatars, so let's get going. So the faster you answer, the more points you get. And the first question is, what are the main robot types used with UiPath? hybrid and attended, unattended and attended, unattended and cross-functional, or semi-intelligent and unattended. Okay, time's up. Oh, you guys did really well, 79%. Great.
Super.
So we're gonna go to the next screen and see who's leading us tonight.
Neck and neck, so close.
Yeah, very close.
We even have some ties in there.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to our next question. It's really close. Hey, you better answer fast. You guys are in tough competition. What is the benefit of RPA? Decrease execution speed, less accuracy, excellent scaling and reduces cost, or same execution speed as humans? Time's up. Oh, great. Okay, let's see who's leading now. Sharish. Oh, Sharish, you're still up there. Good, but you guys are really close, so you can still beat somebody in the next few questions. So I'm gonna stop there and turn it over to Tracy then. And I'll come back at the end for the rest of the quiz.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. So we're just going to walk through the installation of Community. Are you guys able to see a file explorer
Yep.
screen?
Yeah, I can see.
All right, so I'm going to paste the path to install. In the chat for each of you. All right, so if each of you will get that going, I'm going to drag on screen. So this is the URL that should go directly to that download. And it's a sizable file, so it may take a couple of minutes. It's 800 megabytes. So when that's done, then we'll click through and get you guys set up. I don't think you need admin rights for the install, but I can double check that.
It's probably going to depend on your system. Recommend home systems if you're struggling at work.
So I've got a little article that goes into this topic specifically.
I've even installed these on a DoD image, so that's exciting, but it can be done.
So I just pasted something that gets into the topic of installing without admin.
Oh, good job. Nice, Tracy.
A link to the instructions. I'm going to guess there may be something on the site about how to do that specifically. So yes, the documentation does get into what you can do with and without admin privileges. It looks like the quick and custom installations do need them, or no, it says admin privileges are not required for the quick installation. They are for the custom. All right, so show of hands, how many of you guys have got this downloaded where you're ready to move forward? All right, yeah, it looks like a couple of you guys, you should be able to, it's usually pretty straightforward, and this is being recorded. So we'll give it a little bit more time. Any questions? Well, we'll wait a couple more minutes and then we'll go ahead and install what's there. So any other questions we can answer while we're giving it a couple of minutes?
Looks like a few people are still installing.
Yeah, but we're gonna have variable internet speeds, where, you know, it's definitely, if you're on VPN, that's typically slower, so it will take some more time. So it is VB.net is the standard language behind the scenes. However, this is much more drag and drop, as you guys saw, so that you often don't have to use any particular language. There are some functionalities that you can get, take advantage of by, you know, doing certain things. You can look up VB.net documentation for that, but then also go to change that to C# if you so choose, but it's .net. So let's go ahead and click through and start installing. So you double click the MSI file that you just downloaded. All right, now the default to the other screen. So what should be appropriate for you guys typically is the quick installation. That's the one that doesn't require administrator privileges. And you'll want to make sure to click the I accept terms and install. So for those of you that want a VB.net reference, you don't have to specify that it's for UiPath. You'll just find a VB.net reference, which Microsoft has that type of information out on the web in general. So the .NET framework, or look up VB.net functions, methods, those types of things. And if any of you have anything particular that pops up or that's an issue for you as this is installing, let me know. We can talk through that. We do have a good amount of time built in here to get through this and click through.
How long does an install usually take, Tracy?
It's definitely variable on how long it takes. I don't install the community version all that often. I more install enterprise, but it should just take a few minutes. It's not a long process. It won't be 30 minutes or an hour or anything like that. So just a few minutes. And it depends on how much else you have going on in your computer. Mine is usually faster than this, but because of the screen sharing and such, it's slower.
Great, thanks.
So if any of you, while you're waiting on the install, if you have not already, highly recommend setting up your account with Forum with the, so forum.uipath.com, and I'll paste those over.
Yeah, I already put those in the chat, and there's a special one for this group that has a studio group associated with it, Tracy.
Perfect. All
Yeah.
right. So also recommend setting up an account with Slack for the UiPath community Slack channel. Sometimes when you get stuck, you can ask immediate questions out there. So I'll paste that over. And Forum, I will paste that also. I have a little thing that I pasted over. So both of those are very helpful. Forum, there's a lot of information out there. If you're having an error, I would always search whatever the verbiage is on the error out in the forum, because there's so much content out there that you'll often see that other people have had that particular issue numerous times. So I'm going to close Chrome, which I have in the background over here. That's what it's telling me now. So not only does this install the studio environment where you're building the automation and the ability to run it, but it also installs tools in the browsers where you'd often be running information, or you want it to interact, the potential to interact with those browsers. So that's what this is for. I'm going to press OK. So it's just telling us that Chrome will need to be closed. So you just close that in the background if you have it open. So if any of you had anything pop up that was an issue, let me know. You also have the ability to, if you see this link here, get task capture. So what we just installed Studio is where you'll build automations, but task capture can be fantastic for documenting what the existing process is. So if you have yourself or have someone with this installed, walk through everything that they click, type, that type of thing for a process. It creates really beautiful documentation of every step along the way, all of the screenshots, how long is spent on each step, which is really important. If you want to automate a process that's being done manually, you want to make sure that your automation that you're building is well documented, that you know exactly what steps the robot should be making, and that can help you with that effort. Makes it so much easier. And then whenever it's installed, you'll click launch. I'll drag this over as soon as it allows me. So Mike, are you able to take a screenshot, or is there a next button, anything like that? And you may run into issues if you happen to have another version installed. You can sometimes run into issues with that, especially if you have enterprise and community on the same machine. So if you are having problems and you have another version, you'd probably want to uninstall that first.
Tracy, what's the Slack channel called? Is it just UiPath or something?
So I can paste that again. It's uipathcommunity.slack.com. There you go. There's a link to that. So that's nice when you want to throw out, quick question. There's oftentimes a number of people that are willing to answer it pretty quickly if you had something simple and just wanted to get past. So I don't know that it's supported to have both community and enterprise on the same system. Christina, do you or Brian, either of you know if that's supported to have both installs?
I don't know how that would work, but I can tell you this: if you can access both your community account and your corporate account from the same studio. So I have my company studio version on my computer, and when I log in, I can change that setting to be the other orchestrator. So it's which orchestrator you connect to. Like if I want to work on something in my CE, select it, and if I want to come back to work, then I just change that.
All right. I see a question regarding the community edition. I believe that part of the licensing agreement for community is that you're on the current version. So I don't know that you're going to be able to go backwards and grab a prior version. Brian, is that something that you're familiar with? I think
No,
that's,
no, no. I don't see how that's gonna fly either. I mean, you can choose between stable and
Beta.
bleeding
Wow.
edge,
Mhm.
but I don't think you can go backwards.
Yep, anyone that is having issues should be able to put a screenshot in the chat, I believe. And then William, did you choose the quick installation? You have to make sure that the quick was chosen, but it's not supposed to, according to the documentation, it's not supposed to require that. That's if you look here, it's this top item. So it says it shouldn't need admin. So Brittany, no, if you're done with the installation and everything worked properly for you and you're able to just start a new project without any issue, then you should be fine and all done. So if somebody's really having an issue and wanted to screen share, we're happy to take a look if that's easier than posting a screenshot if anyone's stuck. So today, the goal really is to talk through some foundational stuff and then to make sure everybody has the studio installed. So once you're done there, you're welcome to stay and listen in or to drop off, either way.
Yeah, before we do go there though, Tracy, we do want to finish the Menti quiz and make sure that we talk about the exercise and everything for tomorrow or the next session.
Yep, that's fine. Brian, you want to do the Menti quiz, Diana, and then
Yeah, and then why
well,
don't you look at chat and see who needs help if people want to put who needs help in there. Do you want to do that?
sure.
Okay. Give me just a second.
So Diana, we'll do Menti, and then Brian, you want to cover the exercise, and then we'll go to those that need help in installation.
Sure.
So I just put the Menti quiz URL back in.
Well, actually, I already did walk through the exercise. I will tell you this, in that project, so there's a zip file that you're going to get access to on the exercise. And in the project, so get that zip file out, and you know, once you've got your CE working, you can, there's a PDF in there.
So we're going to link to that in the presentation, correct?
Yes, both the presentation and both the deck and a zip file of the project should be there. So what I would recommend you do, that's coming. If they need this through email, Diana, they're going to get the links to the deck and the exercise in the email after the call.
Yeah, well, no, I put it in the chat. Tomorrow, you're going to want to use the code I put in chat, and you're going to go there and look at the tab. We're going to add the link to the presentation so that you can access it there, because I can only post one thing. So the presentation will be there, and then the recording of this session. So after the Menti quiz, I'll put that information in one more time to make sure you all have it. You're going to go to the link I send you in the chat, and then you're going to go up to the wrap-up session and you'll find the information there. Unless you can just put the link to the exercise in the chat as well tonight, Brian.
Yeah, I'm probably put it there directly.
Yeah. So you want me to go ahead and do the Menti quiz?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Sure.
Okay, so let's get ready. Okay. This happened last night too. So I just need to, I'm gonna reset this up. I'll be right back.
Normally you can F5 and it'll refresh that page and restart it.
Okay. It's kind of toggling right now, so. Okay, let me see if I can do this. F5 is not working.
So, or refresh that third icon, that it'll refresh the page and usually let you go forward.
Okay, that was our last question. I think that's where we ended up.
Mhm.
Okay, next question. Great. So you want to answer fast to get more points. Which UiPath component can be used to monitor ROI in operations? Is it Insights, Foresight, Elasticsearch, or Throughput? Time's up. Insights. Good job.
Suresh is unstoppable.
Yep, she's the fastest. All right, one more question. What can RPA not do? Operate any application, reading structured data, move files in folder, manipulate physical objects.
So many hands up. What's up with that?
Time's up. Correct. Manipulate physical objects. Great. So let's see who won for tonight. Suresh won. So Suresh, if you're still here, can you put your email in chat for me? And if not, Ashwanth, can you please put your name? If Suresh is not here, I'll award you the prize. Thank you. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then there's just a couple of other things I want to remind you guys before we go into helping people install. We've put a lot of information in the chat. We've had a lot of questions tonight, but we want you to to make sure that you please register for the next session. It's really important to keep moving through this with us. You may have some issues, but we can work that out, for, on the chat, in the forum. So the next thing I want to make sure you do in the chat is find the email or the URL I sent for the forum and make sure you sign up for that, especially the studio one, because our MVPs will be on there, can help monitor those questions you're having and can help you get up to where you need to be. And then lastly, remember that I put in a URL and I'll put it in again about where you can find the recording tomorrow, the presentation, which will have the exercise link added to it. So just make sure you get that before we go on, and I will add that right now. Okay, Tracy, so that's what I was going to talk about.
All right, so all hands, are there any of you guys that had a question as opposed to needing help with installation? All right, so who would like to go first? We'll assume that if your hand is up and you would like to get installation help, you're welcome to share your screen so we can see what the issue is and walk through it. So let's see, Sean, would you like to share your screen and show us the issue? And then I'll take a look at yours, William. I think you said you couldn't share your screen. Shonda, do you want to come off mute or join by video, either way, to talk through what your issue is? All right, we'll go to the next person. I'm going to put Sean's hand down now. All right, looks like we just have one person left to share their screen. So if you'll come off mute and talk us through the issue and show your screen, please.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to share my screen now. Yeah, I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
So I can't go past here. I tried signing in, it logs me on and keeps going around here.
Have you created an account?
Yeah, I do. I have an account.
Because what it says right now is missing account on the screen. So let's clear the cache on your browser. It looks like it's just got a caching issue or something's wrong with the account that it's seeing in the browser. So if you'll go to type clear in settings, it'll usually find that. Oh, you're an edge. Let me figure out. So maybe cookies and site permissions.
Chrome is better.
If you close, so it's not that one's better than the other. It's just, it gives you an alternative thing to try. So yeah, if you go to clear browsing data here, I use Chrome more often, so I'm more familiar with how to get the settings there.
Clear this, the first one.
Correct. And you want to do all of that, but time range forever, not just the last hour up at the top, all time. Yeah.
Should I do this?
Yes, you should do the second one and then clear data. And then on Edge, it looks like it would be settings and more. And then doing a clear cache there. So privacy,
Yeah.
So if you'll click the second item, the privacy search and services. No, that's not the option there. These are some old instructions. Let me go to Microsoft. There we are. Okay, so there it is.
Then-
Clear. Choose what to clear. Just you passed it just now. Choose what to clear. Clear browsing data. Choose what to clear on that row. And then, oh, that is for every time on close.
Yeah.
So profiles, apparently it's in profiles, the very top selection. Just clearing it temporarily. So if you click on that, then go to sync. Well, no, this is giving me sync instructions. So settings and more. I'm going to paste these into the chat. There you go. For whatever reason, it had you making sure that your sync was off first. So after your sync is off, so go up to the top and turn off sync, it says.
Okay. Awesome.
And then you'll want to go to privacy search and services, the second one again, and then clear browsing data and clear browsing data now and choose what to clear. So we were in the right place. And then it says under time range, choose that from the drop down. Do you see a time range on screen? I do not. So maybe you have to choose some selections first. So the cookies are what you want to clear, the cached images.
Actually,
I don't think there's anything we need to specify not to clear.
all right. So what next?
So I think that's it, but I don't see the button that they say is supposed to be there under time range.
It's whenever you close the browser. So should I
Oh,
shut down the
okay.
browser and start again?
So yeah, you can try that. There you go. So continue with email. Did you set up an account with email or some of the other methods of sign in?
I use LinkedIn.
Okay, so let's continue with LinkedIn then. Apple Music. Alexa thought we requested some background music. Diana, is there a new invite being shared before Friday, or is that something that everyone needs to go out and sign up for?
I put information in the chat. They need to sign up for it.
So yeah, it's not that there's an invite sent out. You need to go out, and as soon as you sign up for that session, then it'll send a calendar entry to your email that you can block your calendar with.
Right.
Okay, so I'm still here. It's to show me the same thing. So
I see where it says missing account.
yeah.
So I'm gonna guess that you may need to sign in using your email instead of LinkedIn.
That's fine. Let me do that quickly. Let me clear the browsers. Okay. Okay. Oh,
So yeah, you can probably skip this part as long as or try it in Chrome either way.
it should probably work.
And try to continue with email. So yeah.
What was that?
Looks like a different email address
Yeah,
or a
no,
different password. One of the
actually
two.
what I use, is same password. Oh,
So I would just do the forgot password link.
okay, let me try that.
There you go. And then you should be able to reset it from your email and log in. It may be in other versus focus.
Hold on.
So the recordings are usually available within 24 hours or so.
Not in yet.
So it might take a minute or two. So we're planning to wrap up class around the 90-minute point.
Okay.
But if you've had successful installation, you're welcome to roll off.
Okay, I guess we just continue when it pops up, and I'll try it. If it's not fine, I can always.
Okay. And then you'll go back to sign in and
Yeah, I'll go back to
if
signing
something
in
comes in.
and see. Yeah.
So if you don't end up receiving an email in the next minute or two, it may be that the email address you signed up with is not right, something like that, or mistyped. That could be a possibility. So I would just create a new account and log in with the new account.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
So
I'll
yeah,
try.
after a minute or so, that was probably the issue, which would make sense in why it was assessing account when you typed in that user. If you signed up with a different one or there was a typo in it, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So for anyone else that needs help, Anthony, did you want to screen share so we can help you? So the service URL is cloud.uipath.com. Anyone else have questions or want to screen share?
What I do want to do is put a session sign up into the chat for those that are asking.
All right, so we'll give Anthony a minute. And then for any of you that might be signing on a different computer or need instructions to reference for installation, I pasted those. So that link also has the link to the installation file right at the top. Although I think that may be the enterprise version. Looking at I'll paste for you guys the community link. So anytime you see a question about the version of Studio, you guys are the community version. William, did that installation work for you? Were you able to get in to that account?
Dr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not yet. It
Okay.
hasn't.
No one is to let people talk.
So, Anthony, do you have UiPath Assistant open right now? If you go to Windows and type in the search box Assistant and click the purple item there.
Feel free to take yourself off mute and just
Um,
talk directly.
Let's do, you can just press exit on this navigation box. Can you try sign in there? It should pop up a browser window. So you can close these. You can probably close just all of the whole browser, and it should pop up a new browser when you click sign in. I think that's what the prior was. All right, you want to click that box. Press the box click the box that said always open. Do you have an account already created?
Yeah, I think I have like an old account that I set up a while back.
All right, so let's have you go to cloud.uipath.com in the browser. Yep. And I would probably reset the password. Oh, okay. So you're actually logged in right now, which is what it was attempting to do. In the other, in Assistant, let's click into that. Back to the, yeah, the purple Assistant thing that we had open just a moment ago. It's probably still open. Yeah. All right. Let's try signing in again. We may want to default to Chrome, so it uses Chrome again if it doesn't. So click that and then open. Can we, so the issue is a login issue in Edge specifically, I believe. If we go back to the dots, we can clear the cache, or we can just click default on Chrome as your browser for a bit you should be able to complete it there. So it set as default there on the left on the URL. Yep. And then close Edge and try again. So that would mean going to there, clicking sign in. Yep, it's still open here. So close this out and press OK here. And then I guess the default browser didn't work. So let's type default browser where it says type here to search there at the bottom, because that didn't change yet. It's still going to Edge each time. There you go. It's the second item. Backspace 1. Yeah, try that again. Default browser. Yep, there you go. It's the, see where it says choose a default web browser. Yep. Click that. And choose where it says Edge here. Click on that box and choose Chrome. Switch anyway. All right, now close Edge. Microsoft wants you to be really sure. And so I think you'd be able to go back and fix Edge, and just if you clear the cache in Edge, I think it would likely be fine. So press the box here, click that and open UiPath. No robot configured for the current user. So I'm going to use Form real quick and look this up. I would probably also close out Assistant entirely. We may reopen it. All right, so this is actually one of the topics out on forum. It looks like there's no valid license. Did you install Community Edition or Enterprise?
I believe the community. I followed the link that was in the chat.
All right.
We should be
So-
able to see the URL that he's using in,
Right.
but I'm not seeing how to see that in Assistant.
In
Yeah, it
Assistant?
doesn't let us log in to configure.
What
things.
else is running there? I wonder if there's something else that's,
So I think part of the issue is that you have a super old account. It may have been pre-interactive sign-in.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at a guide here on this.
Can you close out that Assistant and try it from the studio and see what it sees?
Should I go just sign in?
Sure, let's give it a shot.
So go back and do the more options. So that it does mean that there's not a license, like an attendant license attached.
So we should have an option to get licensed through CE here.
So click the, well, if you click connect to Orchestrator, what are the choices? So yeah, we won't have that. Go to more options again and click the first choice. And then sign in here. So my thought is that you probably want to create a new account aside from this one on a different email.
Okay.
I think that issue is that I've seen that happen before whenever it's super old, way before they change the way that you log in interactively based on your sign in.
Yeah.
So I think it has something to do with that yours is
Okay.
still the old style.
So try like try to set up just a brand new account,
So
different
yeah,
email.
go to cloud.uipath.com and create a new account there.
Okay. I can probably do that on my own. There's a
Yep.
few days before
Yep.
the next class, right?
And then, yes, there is, and just reach out
Friday.
to us if you get stuck on that. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it's the specific, there's something not right about the setup of that account because it's so old.
Okay. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Sure. All right, what can we answer next? Let's see. So do you have the link to the homework handy, Brian?
Yeah, I pasted it. Yeah, I can put it in there again. Give me 1 second. So one thing about that homework, I recommend you open up the zip, grab out the PDF document and start a new project and start from scratch using the PDF. See if you can walk through the PDF. Then you've got the project there as an answer sheet. When if there's any issues, it doesn't work or something. Does that make sense?
So there was a question before I go, is that zip file homework for Friday, or will we be working on that during the class on Friday?
Oh, I don't think we'll see this on Friday. Friday's class should pick up where this class leaves off. That's the way it's designed to work. That link right there, I should have put in there. That's the exercise. So Aditya, are you not getting the zip file from that link? Oh, no, you did. Okay, good.
So the other
So I
thing-
may be hot wiring the system by giving you guys those links now. I am still going to go back and
They're
put a
they're not
couple
gonna be able to
additional
get
links
to
in
the-
the,
yeah.
sorry,
that-
go ahead,
well,
Trace.
I think they have to go to the one in the academy. That is just a link for a small few of us.
Ah, okay. Diana, can you pop that one in there?
Which one?
What the homework is for tonight.
I don't know how to do that, Tracy, because I'd be on a share file, right?
No, I don't think they do the Google Drive. I think they follow in Academy. I believe that's the.
I don't know what you mean by academy because we.
Eh,
don't-
I think there's a course in Academy that has that same exercise in it, I believe.
Oh, well, I wanted to give them the one that
that he put together.
the one,
Tracy.
that one in the Academy is for StudioX. So we
Mm.
want to use the one that I uploaded because,
You'd have to make it public, and I don't know that they have where it's a public link.
well, okay, so one thing that I am gonna do is modify the deck to include a link to that, and then it'll be on the questions page, the last page.
Yeah, hold on and let me see if I can put it in a share file. Just a minute and see if somebody can open it and then you
Okay.
can use that link for your presentation.
So here's, I believe it's anyone with the link now. So anyone want to try that? See if that link works now, or it's public.
I'm getting there, but I'm not sure. Was that the same link as before?
So it looks like it, but I just looked at, I updated general access to be anyone with the link can at least view. Okay, good. We've got it working for other folks. So
Okay,
we're
great.
good now. There you go.
So you want to make sure you capture that one, Brian, and put it in the presentation.
The link.
Okay.
So Venkat, you might want to just give it a moment. It might take some time for it to update that link for everybody, where we just change the permissions. All right. Any other questions?
I think if anybody has any other questions, just remember to log on to forum and put your questions there. And just remember, we'll be back on Friday, so register for the next class. And if you have questions, bring those with you. So I just want to thank you, Brian, for hosting tonight's session, and Tracy.
My
I
pleasure.
appreciate everything. I also want to thank those who are still on the call, your diehard students here, and we really appreciate it, and we'll do anything we can to help you. So make sure that you sign up for the next session, definitely sign on to the forum, and we're here to help you. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Bye.